About security, uploading highly personal documents to an online portal, of course, can make some people nervous. The government does say it's going to be a highly secure process. Claudiu Popa is a cybersecurity and privacy expert and the author of the book, The Canadian Cyber Fraud Handbook, and he's joining us from Toronto. Claudiu, good to see you as always. Concerns you have here, what do you think at first glance?
Thanks for having me on the show. Regarding the upload portal, I think that's going to be an interesting thing to monitor. It's an opportunity to focus the attention on a website. It's an opportunity to implement preventative controls. It's an opportunity to identify the different types of cyber attacks that are attempted against this kind of gateway. So we've seen in the past with Service Canada, for example, situations where these types of interfaces that allow people to upload their personal information are immediately attacked, and then they ended up having to take them down and fix them up. This will likely be a much improved version of that. It'll allow the government to not just cope faster with the types of attacks that they see, but also learn from the types of attacks that take place. So I'm cautiously optimistic about the online portal.
Yeah, you and I have talked for many times over the years about how cyber thieves and hackers often seem to be one step ahead of the authorities. Yeah. But you're saying that in this case you feel a government portal can be made secure enough to prevent it from being tampered with, so people can feel confident if they're uploading some of these documents.
Yeah, I do. Not only that, but it's a fantastic opportunity to centralize the tracking of that that intake. So the intake of the applications, instead of having them come from a variety of sources and offices, which, as far as I understand, is still going to be the case. This new avenue will allow for streamlined processes that are likely to be a lot easier to secure. So yeah, the online interface, cautiously optimistic on my part.
Okay, let's talk about the security enhancements. And we often hear that the Canadian passport is one of the ones that is, the most counterfeited, that it's, a highly valuable document for obvious reasons. Of course, we can understand why a Canadian passport can be good as gold for people who, try to copy passports. These security enhancements, again, based on what you have been reading, do you think they are going to work? Do they make sense? Any concerns?
Well, first of all, I think Canadians need to understand that the current passports are secure documents. There's no reason to have concerns about the security of the existing passports. They will expire when they expire, and at that time, Canadians will get the new travel document. The key thing to remember here is that Canadian passports are effectively a personal firewall against identity theft. Right? This is an important document. It's a modern document. It's made to showcase the most advanced security technology. And quite frankly, I'm very impressed with the new changes that we've seen. There's a dozen security features, and they're not designed to be secretive. They're designed to be recognizable by anyone. In other words, if we can reduce the training time for security officers, customs officers from, say, a half hour to 5 minutes, that's an incredible win, thanks to all of the visible security features that we're seeing on the new document.
Yeah, and I know that there is some controversy over changing of some of the images, but there's also this notion that some of the new, more generic images and the colors may also enhance the security factor in these passports, correct?
Absolutely, yes. So the color shifting, the 4 different palettes, the fact that there are these advanced holograms, the laser etched letters, we're talking about the combination of so many different features that make counterfeit passports incredibly expensive to make in the future. So to give you an idea, when the current documents came out a decade ago, back in 2013, Canadian passports that were counterfeit would cost up to $20,000. In the past few months, they've dropped below 2,000, and some super cheap copies have gone down to $12. So it's the vast numbers of these fake passports out there that really would cause the government to say, you know what, there's enough of those fake ones, let's just reboot and freshen things up and adopt a combination of the latest security technologies and make them visible to not just professionals, but the passport holders themselves, so that anyone can tell if it's a fake or a real one. So I think that's a brilliant move.
Yeah, so it's not just about putting the security measures in place in the passports. It's also about making sure that counterfeiters are aware that they're there, so they know not to even try.
It's a deterrent. That's right. So as a preventative control, I think it's brilliant. I think there's probably going to be a mad rush to replicate the existing passports while they're still valid. So that's an interesting trend to observe as well, because we've seen a lot of dark web marketplaces in particular peddling these kinds of fakes and counterfeit travel documents. But yes, things are about to get very expensive for counterfeiters going forward.
Claudiu Popa joining us, a cybersecurity privacy expert, author of the book, The Canadian Cyber Fraud Handbook. Claudiu, as always, thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure.